Hey guys, it's me. So I'm going to call today. I'm going to start calling it what it is. It's Reset the Kitchen Day, Mondays, because that's what it seems like I'm always doing, is resetting my kitchen, right? And it's getting tiresome. Um, I still haven't finished the family room, so I'm still working on that today or tomorrow. Um, so today's Reset the Kitchen Day, and let me just say, my kitchen looks worse than I think it every time I've cleaned it with you guys. So let me just show you what I'm working with. How about that? And then you can determine on my other videos. I think it's worse than it usually is. So let's just see. And I'm real, so I show you my actual mess. It's just things out of place, dishes that need done, maybe plants that need watered, things that were not put away. Like my crock pot there, and I don't even know if anyone ate that. So, yeah. So here's my kitchen. To me, it feels worse than usual, but maybe it's not. And so I'm just gonna call what it is. It's Reset the Kitchen Day. No, there's one bagel left. I think that's the cinnamon one from Panera's, which if you haven't tried it, it's more like a dessert than a bagel, guys. Believe me, I tried one yesterday and I was very shocked. It was delicious, obviously, but it is very, very, very much sweet. Like a cinnamon roll, almost. So, first we have to put the crock pot away. I was going to use it, but I have another one I'm going to pull out, I guess, because the inside is not clean. So, yeah, let's start there. I just put the lid in the sink to be washed. So we're going to put this away and just talk like we always do. Not sure that went away the right way, but that's okay because it's done. So right now I'm just going to, oh, that's sticky. I don't know. My son was putting his sugar away. So I'm guessing that's why it's sticky. Okay, so stuff away, and he gave me this sugar. This is sugar so that I can bake or cook, because I don't like to use our stuff, which is what do we use? Not Splenda, turmeric. No, not turmeric. One of the fake sugars, I can't even remember what's called often. And it's really hard to cook with because you have to use so much more. I don't know who put my tomato over here. Crap. My tomato was back there in this Walmart bag. And in this bag, which I just picked up I just had groceries yesterday. So I hope it's still good because I didn't know that I actually got it. Yeah, it looks fine. And then as you guys see, I have some pretty ripe here. So it looks like I need to make some banana bread or banana muffins or something with bananas. So I might actually end up using that sugar that my son gave me. So I just got watching that Megan 2 or 0.2 or 2.0 or whatever it was. So I'm going to tell you guys the truth. Don't get mad at me. I did not like the first one. I was not a fan of the first one at all. It was okay, but it was not as, you know how like when you see the commercial and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this. And then you watch it and you're like, that was disappointing. It wasn't as good as I thought the commercial looked. That's kind of how I felt about the first one. But if you haven't watched the second one, I think it was actually really good. They should have started with the first one, if you ask me. So I've got to get my wipes. And no, I don't always use these wipes, guys. I do use liquid stuff sometimes. Just depends on the day and how big the mess is and how much time I really have. So, anyway, so the second one I thought was great. It was really good. If you have not seen it, or if you haven't, I guess if you haven't seen the first one, you can still watch it. I don't think you have to see the first one to watch the second one. I don't know if this is coffee. Looks like coffee with creamer stuck. So it's dry. You never know in this house, right? Anyways, so yeah, I suggest that anyone watches it. I think it was really made well compared to the first one. I don't know if it's the same director or what, but so I did watch that. After my morning this morning, I kind of needed some. My son was nice and made me coffee this morning and brought it to me, which was sweet of him. As you guys know, in the last video, I thought we were going to miss the bus this morning because I fell back to sleep. But somehow, again, we made it, which was great. I don't think my son was very happy with it because, of course, he wanted to stay home, as you guys can imagine. But I'm trying to get him to school more. There was a few years that he didn't make it to school as much as he should have. And I really been working on it. Him making it to school this year. Just watered the plants. I might overwater them at this point. I don't know. I'm not very good. Are these clean or dirty? I think they're clean. So yeah. He took a bagel to school to eat breakfast because, you know, I have bougie kids who don't like things. Look at what my kids do. You see how little's in these? And then they'll open a new one. Look at that. It's a little higher. And this is all the same kid. This isn't just like both of my kids. This is one doing all these. And it drives me crazy. Right? I should pour them into each other. Maybe that's what I'll do. That's what I did in my bathroom the other day. Because we had like bottles of the same shampoos. But they were almost gone, so I dumped them in each other. Of course, my kids can't figure out to do that. And I don't think even though my husband he has his own, even though he uses the same brand. But he couldn't even dump those in for me. Which, again, irritates me. I know I'm not the only woman out there that gets irritated by that. Like, that their husband leaves not even a teaspoon of peanut butter, or kids leave fruit boxes in the freezer because they don't want to throw them away, right? So, it's annoying. And, oh, I'm spilling this now. It's annoying and uncalled for. There was one that was more full than the rest, so I dumped a bunch of that into one. And the rest can get dumped down the sink. Because I'm not going to sit here and play with all these water bottles. So, if you guys like Jelly Roll, did you guys see him at the Grammys? I did not watch it. I don't watch that stuff. Of course, now we have to recycle the bottles. I don't watch the Grammys and all that. But Bonnie, the red dress. Oh, yes. Loved it. It was like, of course, I don't look like her, but it's definitely the dress I would have picked for myself. As I mentioned, probably, actually, my favorite color is red. Love red. I've always loved red. Since I was probably a preteen, it has been my favorite color. Of course, when I was a little girl, it was pink and purple. And at one point, like I said in a previous video, I believe that I actually, in high school, at one time, all my clothes were red. Which, I guess I never had to worry about if my clothes went together. But everything I bought, clothes-wise, came in red. Red pants. I mean, I'm sure I had some black pants and jeans, but red pants, red shirts, everything was red. And as much as I love red, I did get to the point that I'm like, people are going to think I'm wearing the same clothes every single day, right? Like black leggings, right? We all own 50 pairs of black leggings, but it looks like we wear the same pair every single day. And so I was like, people are going to think I'm wearing the same clothes every day. And they never thought that, but I guess I thought that. It's kind of like, we are like, what would I think, right? So I started wearing other colors then. So yeah. And even now, if it comes in red, I still buy it, believe me. But sometimes it doesn't come in red and I have to pick a different color if I want that, right? So it does give me a little more options. But yeah, if it comes in red, I definitely will get it. So yeah, but Bonnie's Bunny, sorry. Her dress was amazing. And so yeah, I was really proud of them. I'm a big Jelly Roll fan. Definitely love his music. And even though I think anybody can relate to it, whether you've been down the same road as he, or you're just down and out and feeling some kind of way, So, I have a few people I know that are not a big fan of his, which is okay. It surprises me. But it's okay. Because it's just typical music that they typically would like. So, putting food in the pantry. So, I don't know if you guys remember when I redid my pantry. Well, it's not redone now. It's a mess again. So, of course, I'm to the point, I'm having a hard time finding stuff in there. And then I rebuy it. Which, that's what irritates me with the pantry. Because, if you want beans, for example, and you thought you had some, and you look and look, can't find them, so you go buy more. And guess what? Then you find them. And you end up looking like you have a store of your own. Well, that's why I redid my pantry. And I'm back to the same, guys. It's so upset. I don't know. Things like that irritate me. I try not to let it. But like right now, I have canned foods here on my counter. I don't know where to put them. And I mean, I'm definitely thankful, don't get me wrong, for what I have. And, that I have a pantry to put food in. I'm thankful I have food, right? But it's like, a little overwhelming, I guess. Because as you guys know, my life isn't organized at all. My life is crazy. If you guys haven't learned this by watching my videos. But, you know, so I like to have a few things put together. Which one was going to be my pantry that I was going to be able to put together. So that's not going to happen, which is fine. We will try another time. So I will update you on, I don't eat this stuff anymore. I think I ate it once in my life. It's tuna cheesy pasta. Do you have to put tuna in it? Like, I don't eat fish. Can I just eat it without? I think you could probably eat it without putting meat in it, right? So just make cheesy pasta. Because the tuna obviously doesn't come with it. Anyways, let me know in the comments on that one. Because if not, I want to give them to someone that can or will eat them. Also, update on something. Well, so update, I guess, really. If you're following the drama with my husband and I at all, or if you're tired of it, you can move on to the next video or skip this part. So I did get to go through the one phone and delete, like, different things. Not delete them because they were already deleted, but sign in and either delete the actual accounts. But I also, like, all of them have passcodes that he doesn't know. And now, like, so if he would try to sign in, he would not be able to. Because there was one, especially one of them, you cannot get on and be like, I forgot my password, and reset it. I found out. Not this one. And so that was kind of cool. So I did that. But then I saw, like, 3 days ago, he was still looking up, like, Googling, this person's name. And, of course, I'm like, why? Like, that person, again, that person's taking up time in your brain and in your heart if you're taking the time to look up this name. This person isn't even real. It's a bot or a scammer. Because I have talked to the scammer personally. And, like, I'm not going to tell you all my secrets of how I find things. But the scammer definitely did not use words that you and I would use. And, yeah, so, you know, there's ways to look up where the wording is from. I will say there's ways to look up emails, which will also tell you where it's from. There's a lot of different ways to do different things, okay, and get information. And so you have to be your own detective, if you want to know. If you don't want to know, then it's fine. But I'm pretty good at this stuff. Not saying I'm perfect, but I'm pretty good. Anyways, so so he's like, oh, I don't know. So he started to try to say he was looking up the name, because he was like looking up where the surname was from, just different things about the name. And he's like, oh, I was just trying to see if there was any other fake accounts out there. No, you weren't. So it finally came through. He finally admitted that he was looking up one more time to see if there was any truth to who the person was. Like, if the person basically was real. One more time type thing. And ladies, it looks like I'm a few lady followers. You know what that does to self-esteem if you've been through anything like that. And, my husband has mentioned in the past that he believed maybe once that he had autism. And I do start to wonder, because you really have to draw a picture for him. And I'm not making fun of anyone, because our oldest son has autism. So that's why I'm saying that. And I never saw it, but back in his days, they didn't know much about autism. And, a lot of people got diagnosed with ADHD, I think, back then. And then, they taught them to kind of hide it, to stay active, to stay busy, to work, to get that energy out. And I'm starting to, after all of this and him not understanding how people might feel, I start to wonder. And, so I had to explain to him how it made me feel. Because he was like, well, I didn't talk to anyone. Or, well, I brought XYZ home like you told me to, so that you could look at it. So I don't understand what the problem is. And so I had to really get down and explain it to him, for him to understand what it does to someone's self-esteem. And how it hurts people. And explain it to him also if the shoe was on the other foot and I had a picture, or I had, someone I was interested in, but I was choosing you, like, oh, that person's really not interested in me, so I'm going to stay with you. That's what people don't think. Or, I don't know if they don't think, but they don't care. I don't know. So it could be a little of both, really. I don't know if he really felt bad. When I explained it to him, he seemed to get it. But again, who knows, right? Because I say that all the time, right? That he seemed to get it. I think he understood, right? I say that quite often. So who knows, really? And I guess I will never know, right? The best you can do is either move on with that person or walk away. And I know that. But, I don't know if any of this will ever help anyone, because I'm not sure I'm helping myself. This helps me, you guys. But, and then we actually slept in our room last night, which was, I sleep in our room quite often, but we haven't, I'm trying to think how many years, we haven't been in the same room, sleeping, unless you count the living room, my heart surgery was about 6.5 years ago. So around 6.5 years, we have not, no, even longer, because after I was in the hospital, I stopped sleeping in our room because I knew about my heart problems, and apparently I decided mentally that I was scared to sleep in my room because I was scared of what might happen, because That's where I had breathing problems. When I had my attack with pneumonia and pneumonia and flu. So I stopped sleeping in my room because that's also when I found out about my heart problems that I didn't know I had. So that's when I stopped sleeping in our bed in our room. And then I was feeling better, and when we moved to this house, but then it got to the point, it was like he wanted to keep me out of our bed. So I slept in my recliner for like 2.5 years. He started having our room to himself, and I think he enjoyed it, because who doesn't like a bed by themselves? Let's be honest. If you don't, then you haven't been married that long. But I think he enjoyed having our room to himself, so I never felt welcome to go back to my bed. I think I always felt like he did everything to keep me from coming back to our room, because he would use the TV and sleep with it blasting, and I'm not somebody who sleeps. I can sleep with the TV on, just not very, very loud, right? It can be on. It just doesn't need to be blasting, right? Nobody wants to hear all that when you're trying to sleep. I don't. And I do sleep with the TV on. It's just sometimes I like a dark room, quiet too, you know? And so, here's another tuna Alfredo. Anyways, those were given to us. I would never buy those. I have not. I don't know if I've ever. I think once or twice I bought something like that at Aldi's in my life, like when we first got together. Never made it, I know, unless it was like a hamburger one, maybe. So, yeah, so I never felt welcome to go back to our bed. He would blast the TV, and when I would ask him to turn it down, he would kind of huff and puff about it. So if you don't know one thing about me, I use the dishwasher as storage because the little spinny thing broke years ago in the bottom, and it fell over onto the heating element and melted, and it's never been replaced. So yeah, it gets storage for food and snacks. So and then my mom, when she was here, she never liked dishwashers because she felt like it tasted like bleach, like the dishes. And she doesn't like the smell of bleach. Like, she claims she's allergic to it. I don't know if it was allergic or she just didn't like the smell. So, yeah, but yeah, so anyway, so back I was saying, so yeah, I don't know where things will go. Right now, I just trying to get a handle on everything in my life all at once. And, you know, my husband, like, I think I mentioned that this is not the first time he's talked to other people. It is the first time he's taken it so far talking. Like, saying certain things, you know, to someone that I know of, I should say, right? There's pizza crust I didn't remember I had. Anyways, but I will say that it just, you know, I don't know, you know, where things will go, what things will go. do. Like I said, I have so much going on in my life right now. It is one of the things that I'm not gonna sit and, I don't want to say dwell, but it's like I don't want to make a decision when I'm mad or when I'm not mentally together, if that makes sense. So again, we'll see how much he actually understands at this point. And I know people might say, hey, but having a son that's autistic, you have to, like, he's been in trouble, my son, not legal, but for not knowing that you can and can't say things or do things, or that certain things will hurt people or upset people. So the same as my husband. So that's the only reason I say that. Because I don't think people, I hope they don't, would purposely go out to hurt someone. You know what I mean? I would hope not. Or maybe I see more good in people than anyone deserves. I'm not sure. I am a true believer that, people go around saying how AI or scammers or internet ruin people. No, they don't. If you allow them to and use them for bad things, it's how things get ruined. Nobody made you make that call or get into someone's inbox, right? Or if someone was in your inbox, it didn't mean you had to answer. So you made the choice to let it hurt you or your loved ones, right? Anyway, so we will see. But like I said, right now I am trying to focus on trying to get my mom's stuff done, focusing on her. Don't know how long we have with her, obviously. I mean, obviously, something could happen to one of us, right, before her. But, I think more of my focus is on her and what needs to be done for her or, for her stuff. And, again, people can only handle so much at once, right? I have duties for my kids and to try to take care of my mom at this point. So, I do what little fun I can do, which is very little at this point. I am blessed to have some wonderful, amazing friends who take time out of their lives to basically go out to eat with me and listen to me vent. And sometimes I take over the whole conversation and it's all about my life. And I'm really sometimes bad at that because, as you guys can see, I love to talk. And I don't stop talking once I get going, especially when I'm with an adult who will listen. And who will understand. And so I have some amazing friends who listen and are there for me and make me feel like I'm not totally out of it, I guess, and makes me feel like, some things in my life might be a little normal. I don't think anything's normal in my life, but, I know everybody goes through different things. And, I will say for the scammers, a lot of them talk about how wonderful God is and He provides for them, and maybe, and I understand, like they have to make a living. But, you know, I think God would want you to make an honest living, not scamming people. And maybe that's the most money you get. I get it. Or can get around there, or wherever you are. But people don't realize how much they're hurting people or hurting other people. And I mean, I know they can say, well, your husband or your wife didn't have to be weak. So, yeah, you're right. But it didn't have to be a fake temptation either. You know, I guess. So, I don't know. There's a lot of ways of looking at that. But, so we're doing dishes, if you guys can't tell. And again, I don't mind doing dishes. I just hate doing silverware, as you guys know. So yeah, between that and my mom and, let's see, what else? And I do get to go out this week with one of my friends, so I'm looking forward to that again. Again, if you are lucky enough to have a few friends, you know, you don't need 15 or 20, but you just have a few, you know, it's the best thing ever. You know, to have such wonderful people in your life. I couldn't be more thankful for my friends that hang with me and listen to my craziness. And, again, hang with me. Because I'm not sure I would hang with me if I was one of my friends or people that knew me. But I think it takes a special person to hang out with me, because as you guys see, I'm pretty much an open book, and not everybody likes that. I have found people who absolutely love it, and because I think people don't, you know, not everybody's so honest about things in their lives, and, you know, no, I mean, obviously you guys don't need to know everything in my life, but I'm pretty much an open book. And some people love it. They laugh with me, they cry, well, they don't cry with me, but they laugh at me. Like, and again, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? And I am just one of those people who, I am pretty much, I mean, I'm honest. And, you know, life is not easy, obviously. And some people will think so. And, you know, even my oldest doesn't understand. He thinks everything is against him when things go wrong in life. Which, he's still young, so he hasn't had a lot of grown-up problems yet. And I'm like, I always tell him, I'm like, dude, and like, that's life. Life is not perfect. Everybody has problems. Everybody's gonna have problems. And it's how we deal with them. It's how we react to them. It's our decisions of what we do with that, right? And he doesn't get it. I'm like, you're still young and you haven't even had many problems. Like, you think you're having problems now. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to prepare him for real life. And it's how we deal with it. I'm not saying I don't get down and depressed, but then I usually pick myself up, because you can only go down so far, right? You have to pick yourself back up sooner or later after your pretty party, right? So, but yeah, so I'm excited to go out with my friend this week. What else am I doing? I'm going to see my mom this week sometime. I'm not sure. I was trying to decide if I wanted to take her food. She really had trouble with Taco Bell. It's a burrito, her favorite burrito, but that's kind of messy, so I can see why, and it's soft and squishy, so I'm not sure. She did okay, like, when we did Olive Garden, and she seemed to do okay with pizza, because, you know, with dementia, they get to the point they kind of forget how to, I think, eat and swallow, and, you know, so I don't want her choking, obviously, either. So I think that's all the dishes that are going to fit right now. So I'll have to do more later. And I see a few snow flurries. I have a headache coming on, I can feel. Not fun when you get a headache. And this crock pot definitely needs to soak some more. So we're going to put that back in the sink. And let it soak maybe until later. So, again, my life isn't that exciting right now. I have a photo shoot. A couple photo shoots I have to do. So, I don't know if I've ever talked about my hobbies, with you guys. So, my hobbies, if you haven't learned or seen, is I love swimming. So, in the summer, you will find me at the pool pretty much all the time. It is one of my favorite things to do. And I have 2 water babies, thankfully, who also loves to swim. Especially my youngest. I don't think my oldest ever went swimming, actually, this summer at all. And so, swimming is definitely one of my hobbies. Love it. Could live at the pool, you know, until closing. No problem at all. My other thing is that I paint. Well, I was painting. I haven't really painted. I think I've done, since my mom had her stroke, I did maybe 4 paintings. And I just cannot bring myself back to doing it. And my other one is photography. Now, my mom got me into that when I was about 16 and going, you know, it's kind of going through life and trying to figure out everything then too, but in a different way, you know. And so she got me started on it, and it brought me joy back then. And lunch. Anyway, it brought me lunch. No, it brought me joy. And I had a very old camera. I still have it. I just don't use it anymore. And it was my grandfather's camera, because he used to do photography, and he also did pictures for a local newspaper when my mom was younger. My grandfather kind of did a little of everything, I think. Okay, how do I open this, guys? There should be another side. Is it over here? And so it was his camera. I think it's one that actually is supposed to take the light bulb, but you don't have to have it. Whoops. Okay, I'm ripping this to hell, guys. There we go. And so, and I think my grandma did a little, but she never really got into photography all the way. Anyway, so, yeah, so it really, you know, helped me when I was younger, and I enjoyed it, and so I kept doing it. And when I was about 16, I was about 17, 18, I had my first exhibit at the local library, and it was in a newspaper, and people came. That scared me. I don't know how long I'm supposed to put that on. So, people came and saw my photography, and actually I sold, I think, about 5 pieces. Since then, I have done photography. I have never had another show. And I do better at people pictures. So kids or families, anything like that. I'm not saying that I don't do nature, but nature isn't my thing. It's okay. I will do, things are falling. I will do nature, don't get me wrong, but that was my mom's thing. She did flowers and animals and birds and grass, I think, and everything else that she could take a picture in nature. But I like doing my kids and, people. I like doing different outfits and this and that, so that was my thing as I got older, was doing that. But when I was younger, I did, nature also. That's how I got started, was doing flowers. But yeah, so that is, I haven't really done real photography, in a long time. And maybe that's something I need to get back into this summer, right? To keep myself going with that. So yeah, that is at least 3 of my hobbies. I also like Pinterest, so I love doing crafts off there. I like trying new recipes. Otherwise, those are my hobbies. I'm trying to think if there's any other hobbies that I do. So I used to, and I know this is going to sound probably crazy, I used to make jewelry. I've done that. My mom and I did that. We did a craft show once. And then it wasn't worth the hassle. So then we started selling to friends and family and different people that knew us. We also, what else did I do? Trying to think, what else? I feel like I've kind of done a little of everything. I know. I used to, and this is what's going to sound crazy probably. So I used to go to stores and I would buy baby dolls. And yes, I mean baby dolls, like little kids' baby dolls. And they looked like the American Girl dolls, probably a cheaper version, which was fine. But, little kids stopped playing with their dolls, and so by the time you got them, their hair would be a mess, or they would be dirty. Okay, it looks as good as it's gonna get, I guess. And so they would be dirty. And so I would bring them home, and I would clean them up, wash their hair, and kind of, fix them, brush their hair, cut their hair, whatever needed done. We'll try a green apple. I don't think I've ever tried that one. And I would either buy new clothes for them, or, because most of the time they didn't have clothes on. Anyways, or I would make clothes for them. And this is when you say make clothes. Yeah, I would have, because I've done a lot of crafts, so I would have some material here at home that wasn't being used, and I would glue what seemed to be like an outfit together on them. So it would be glued to them. And I would fix their hair, really, when I bought them, what I really wanted to do was their hair. I'm not the best at hair. I do better at someone else's than my own. Okay, that's good. It tastes sweet. It's green apple. Definitely. Okay. So, I really wanted them for their hair. So I could do their hair. And then I kept doing it. And I would get different ones. Because typically, whenever you would go to like a Goodwill, you could find these dolls that always look like American Girl dolls. Probably a cheaper version, but that's okay. And they weren't that expensive at the time. And so we called rehabbing them, I guess, is what I would do. And it brought me joy. But at the same time, I kind of felt crazy doing that. And my kids were like, are you doing another doll? And I would have, then I got to the point I had different dolls for different times of the year. So I would have a bunch of Christmas ones to put around the tree. I would have different ones for different holidays. So before we moved here, I got rid of almost all of them. Just because they're big, they're bulky, and again, there's no space for them. I had nowhere to store them. So I think I still have a couple put away because one of them I did buy her a specific outfit. That was like on Etsy or something. And so that's the only reason I kept her. And then my mom bought me a couple before I gave it up. And I still have them because I do want to at least put outfits together for them since she bought them. But I want to buy their outfits. And then I have taken the little Dollar Tree dolls and I've made Tiffany from Chucky because one thing, if you don't know me by now and haven't seen my bathroom, which there is a video, I love Michael Myers. I love it. I love Chucky. I love all those. So that is one of my other things that I absolutely love. So I hope you have learned something. And hopefully I haven't bored you. But I'm going to eat my lunch now. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.